Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Durham, your report reads like a defense of the Trump campaign and an attack on Hillary Clinton because that's exactly what it is. Donald Trump wanted you to investigate the investigators to show the deep state conspiracy, but you never found one. Instead, you gave him and his MAGA Republicans the next best thing, someone else to blame for Donald Trump's problems. That's why you're here today, because the chairman and his colleagues need someone, anyone, to deflect from the mounting evidence of Trump's misconduct.
What's up, everybody? Major Retired Richard Ojeda here, and John Durham appeared before the House Judiciary Committee for a hearing on his investigative report recently and got put into a pressure cooker by Congressman Jerry Nadler. Nadler absolutely steamed Durham for his special counsel investigation into the FBI failing to prove that the Bureau was out to get Donald Trump in a weaponization of justice, as GOP jackaloons have said.
Let me remind you that Donald Trump was federally indicted on 37 counts for mishandling classified information. 37 counts. That's why you're here today, not because of anything that happened in 2016. Ms. Durham, your investigation cost more than $6.5 million, involved the work of dozens of FBI employees and federal prosecutors, some of whom resigned in protest, and took roughly 4 years to complete. And with all these resources and all these people you were sent to help you investigate the investigators, you only filed 3 criminal cases. You only brought 2 cases to trial, correct?
Correct.
And you lost all the cases you brought to trial, correct?
Correct.
In fact, 2 juries acquitted your defendants on all charges. And the one conviction that you obtained, the defendant pleaded guilty to a single count that never went to trial, correct?
The truth is that Donald Trump wanted the FBI to look the other way from his criminal activities and crooked business dealings. Remember when he tried to get FBI Director James Comey to pledge his allegiance to him? Comey didn't fall for that ploy, and it pissed Donald Trump off. Trump wanted assurance that he was to be considered above the law. When Director Comey told Donald Trump to pound sand, he slid into his usual character assassination tactics and started defaming the FBI. Trump appointed Christopher Wray in an attempt to buy the same blind eye that he asked Comey for, but his plan failed miserably.
This fantasy that some MAGA Republicans have created, where the investigation was started for any reason other than a Trump campaign operative bragging to Australian intelligence assets about Russian dirt that would damage Hillary Clinton, is not true.
This is why GOP extremists like Lauren Boebert and Marcia Trainwreck Green have been spewing nonsense about impeaching Christopher Wray.
I'd like to discuss one more false conclusion about your report that's made its way into the MAGA Republican talking points. Some of my colleagues across the aisle have started calling this the, quote, Russia hoax. It's the theory that Russia did not actually interfere in the 2016 presidential election. That is patently false. In 2017, during the Trump administration, the Director of National Intelligence declassified a report on Russian activity in the 2016 election. You're aware of this report, correct?
Correct.
And in this report, the intelligence community found that, quote, Russian President Vladimir Putin ordered an influence campaign in 2016 aimed at the U.S. presidential election. Russia's goals were to undermine public faith in the U.S. democratic process, denigrate Secretary Clinton, and harm her electability and potential presidency. We further assess Putin and the Russian government developed a clear preference for President-elect Trump, close quote. You did not dispute that Trump ordered an influence campaign to influence the 2016 election in your report, did you?
As I said, there was a real
Yes or
Russian
no?
threat.
No. Okay.
Nadler ripped Durham's investigation as the Trump-ordered endeavor to prove a deep state conspiracy within the government. Nadler pointed out that the Durham report couldn't prove any wrongdoing by the FBI and that his investigation of the investigators was a colossal waste of taxpayer money. As Jerry Nadler turned on the heat, you could see Durham turning a bright shade of red. He almost looked like a lobster cooking as Congressman Nadler presented facts and refused to entertain Durham's one-sided argument. Durham's report didn't prove anything that it set out to prove. It was a smoke and mirrors document that has given Republicans 300 pages to use as fodder for their conspiracy cannons. Nadler put the final nail in the coffin, though, when he confronted Durham over Republican fantasies of blaming everyone other than Donald Trump for the twisted tyrant's legal problems. The fact is that all of the trouble that Donald is in is of his own doing. John Durham is an utter buffoon, and his 4-year investigation is a failure. The FBI and the Justice Department aren't being weaponized against Donald Trump. They are upholding the law and holding Trump accountable. That's what they can't admit. The Durham report isn't worth being used for toilet paper, and that's a fact. Sappers clear the way, airborne all the way.